start with,
Yeah, let us stand. Most gracious and all-wise Father God, once again, give us God together this evening, Father God. Father God, we want to say thank you for allowing us to see a day. Thank you for the rain, Father God, something that we desperately need. Now, Father God, as we gather together to tend to the business of the Stanley Rec Center and our community, Father God, let all hearts and minds be on one accord, Father God. These and all the blessings, asking and answers from all the name of Jesus Christ. Let every heart say amen.
all right, this time we're going to have a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll start with roll call. Robbie Gordon, present. Selena Massey. James Woods. James Woods.
Present.
Curtis Stewart.
Present.
Bernard White.
Present.
Reginald Pender.
Present.
Elijah Brown. Barbara Lee. And that's all the voting members. All right, we do have a quorum. So our next order of business is going to be approving the April 16th minutes. Anyone have any changes that need to be noted? If not, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I move this minute to approve.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. All right, so we're going to get started, and first thing I want to talk about is the public comment section that we're going to have. This is new for our meetings. We generally have not done a public comment section, and so this was recently introduced by one of the aldermen. They recommended that all of our public meetings have public comment. So we do need to establish some time limits on the public comment. So I need you guys to give some recommendations on the amount of time any one person can speak for the public comment. So typically, our Board of Aldermen meetings, I think, are 3 minutes at a time or 4. So you guys can make recommendations on what you think is an ample amount of time for someone to speak.
I think it should be the same as the Board of Aldermen meeting.
Okay, so 4 minutes. Can I get a motion to? You made a motion, Mr. White? Okay. To have public comment speaking to 4 minutes per person. May I get a second? Selena, thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Alrighty. So when we get to the public comment section, the public that is here can come up and talk and make comments regarding the history wall. We also will have some time that you guys can speak with the consultants afterwards to provide any input you would like to provide. And now I'm going to introduce our consultants that are here with us, and they'll kind of take over, and we're going to start the workstation portion. They've got several questions they're going to go through with you. I think in the email you guys received, I sent that questionnaire if you had the opportunity to look at it. If not, they're going to be covering some of those same questions today. All right, so to get started, I'm going to introduce Kim and Albert. They are with 310 Architect and Interiors, and they are the consultants who will be working to gather the research and the design for the history wall. And so they are the ones that are going to take all your input and information and turn this into a wonderful story for us. Okay? All right, guys, you ready?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I am Albert McDonald. I'm the Director of Design for 310 Architecture and Interiors. We're a sort of multi-faceted architecture, interiors, and graphic design group. So I think what that kind of says about us, and I just wanted to kind of introduce who we are, so kind of know where our experience comes from and what we kind of bring to the conversation. But our experience with architecture, interior design, and experience with graphic design allows us kind of a unique perspective on bringing experiential graphic design into the built environment. So it's more than just painting a wall, it's more than just putting up signs. It's about the integration of a story into a space. And what we want to do today, I think, that's probably the most important part of what we do in a project like this is to hear from the community what is important to them about this space, Stanley White. When I say this space, I'm talking specifically about the community center. What it means to the community, what it means to you as individuals, and we're gonna document that information and try to put it together into what I guess you could say is kind of a visual narrative that we can then start to kind of map out in that space in a meaningful way. I don't think it's fair to say that we're the creators of the art or the story that's going to be happening on this wall, this mural within the Stanley White Community Center. It's more about we are the ones who are going to be taking information from you and doing what we do, which is draw things and do it well and kind of compose things and take that information and put it into a cohesive, thoughtful, hopefully accurate and hopefully inspiring visual that will be inside the community center. That's kind of the big high level, right? So what we're going to do today is ask a series of questions, just kind of get the ideas flowing and some of the significant things about this endeavor out into the open, document it, and then we'll have, we're not going to propose anything today, right? Like we don't have any way to do that. We don't know enough. So this is the kind of research side of it where we want to get to know the stories and put them together into something and bring back and say, here's what we think we heard. What do you think? Is this accurate? We'll have an opportunity to comment on that, and then we'll take it back and rework it a little bit until we kind of get it. So I think, and I say that in sort of with the intention of saying that we don't have to have all the answers today. We can forget things, and we may walk out here this evening and say, oh, you know, I forgot this, and this is really important. We can come back to it, we can revisit it. This is a start, this is a kickoff to just get those ideas out, get those stories out, and to really get to the heart of what is the spirit of Stanley White, what is the spirit of this space, what does this community center mean to this community and what? And then we'll kind of take that step back and do the hard talks. But anyway, this is our sort of thing, right? This is our advertisement, blah, 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 we're committed. I think we are, but we can do more than this. Just to give you an idea of kind of the spaces that we work in all aspects of architecture, interior, and experiential graphic design. We work in healthcare, corporate, education spaces, all that. Right? I think the industries that we are in have kind of a common theme, which is that we're intentional about being very community oriented in our work. We like to know that we're working with people with more than just the owner, so to speak. So if you think of a library, there's going to be a government municipality that's going to run that library, and we're working for that municipality, but in reality, what we were working for are people that are using that library. So it's been very community focused for us. We always try to keep that in sight, because that's where the real good stuff happens, is when we work for the community. To give you just an idea of kind of where we worked around the state, and some of our clients, it ranges everywhere from university work to our step-up ministry partners in Raleigh, healthcare, with med, and we work all over the state in different aspects of different projects. So, working around the area, working in different communities is not new to us. It's something we kind of pride ourselves on. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Kim, who is our spiritual lead. I'm gonna probably be the narrative for most of the evening, but then chime in here and there. Without thanking you again for letting us
Thank you.
Can I ask some questions before we start? Where are you guys from?
our office is based in Raleigh. I'm from Fayetteville originally.
So you guys are from Raleigh, and do you have anybody that looks like us that work with you guys?
Unfortunately not right now.
So how can you design a district law for us?
That's why you're here.
I mean, I understand why we're here. We've been here for a long time. But this history law, right, and it's got to have something to it. It's got to have a feel. It's got to have, you got to be able to make it. Okay? And if you don't have anybody that looks like you that works with you can't connect it. See, everybody that's doing this building, nobody looks like us. Okay? And everybody that uses this building looks like us. That's what we're really doing. Okay? And for you to design a history law, which I thought was being designed by the ECU, in our own, it was all under the impression that it was being done by East Carolina University, the students there. Now we find out that it's taken over to, it was a design firm in Raleigh. It's gonna tie the district, it's gonna tie the center and this entire together, right? It's supposed to tie the two together, right?
The history law in Stanley White Recreation Center will tie the whole Stanley White, Duffyville community, whatever you guys decide it to be. This is a separate project from what ECU is working on.
So this is not the one that's outside, this is
No,
inside the building.
correct. This
this is not-
is a project that the city's funding for the Stanley White Recreation Center.
So we don't need to call it the history law then, because my impression of the history law was the law that was outside of the building that was tied in Stanley White and Henderson Park, and it was going to be along Third Avenue.
I have no idea about that. That
And
is,
the ECU, am I the only one?
somebody from Developmental Services initiated that. That was not initiated by Parks and Recreation, so I'm not sure what the process was with that. If you have more information on it that you can share, but from what I was told, it was somebody in Developmental Services.
Still no place there.
But that's fine, but we have a process we have to do because we're a municipality. We put it out for bids, we received a few bids, they were the lowest bid, which is what the city always goes with. I can't cut red tape to change that. And I can't determine what color people are when they bid for it. we can either use this opportunity to work on a history wall for the recreation center, or we can sit here and have a conversation about why these people got the deed.
You missed all of what I said.
I did not miss the point. I know what you're saying, but this is why we're having public comment, so people can come here and comment on what they want to see in this history wall. And then, once they put information together, it'll come back to you guys to say, yay, we like it, or no, we don't like it. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah,
Just
Robbie.
make a comment rather than ask this question. And I'm thinking what I'm hearing from, and what I know I'm hearing from Mr. Woods isn't necessarily about color. What it's about is the connection that everybody in this room, and definitely on this panel, has to Stanley White, the man. Stanley White, the building, was a safe haven, and just as important. And there was a rite of passage, and that history has to be felt, has to be projected, and it has to be put on something that's going to be concrete, but it's something that's in our hearts, and it's something that we feel because we grew up with it. I'm hoping that I'm correct saying that it's not about the color, but it's about, if you've never grown up with separate but equal, then you have no idea what you went through. If you've never grown up with being on the other side of town, then you don't know what you went through. And what Stanley White gave us was a person that gave of himself and ended up giving his life, doing something for us, right over here. What we have to remember that the building for some of the younger ones was that safe haven, and it was a rite of passage. A lot of the young people could not get on the main course until some of the older guys left, or until we brought them on and you graduated up until that point. But it was a rite of passage. So it's more so heartfelt than to say, hey, you don't look like me, you don't know what I was going through. Well, until you walk that walk, you really can't. But we're not going to take the baby out with the bathwater. We're going to work on it. We're not going to sit here and argue about who's going to do it, because ultimately, we're the ones who lived it. We're the ones who have heartstrings here. And I'm seeing a bunch of others that have heartstrings in the game. So we're going to make sure that it gets its just due.
Right, and that's why you guys are here, the ones to give the input. And if they had someone on their staff of color, that doesn't mean they would be able to give specific input to this history wall. You guys are providing the content for this history wall.
I guess I hear what you're saying. It's what's going on. So many times we're asked a few things, and then at the end of the day, what we put in and what the community put in and asked for is a totally different situation. It turns out a whole 360 from what we promised, what we asked for. And that's my concern. Point blank. I don't care who do it or whatever. It's supposed to be done for the community in honor of Stanley White, the man, not the building, the man. That's what I want. Point blank.
Well, we've never
And
done
anything
this
other than
process
that,
with
anything-
these,
yeah,
so
anything
this is the
else,
first time.
I got the phone down if it's anything other than violation.
Okay. Anybody else?
This over for public comment now, or just?
Not yet, no. We were just starting the work session.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and start the questions now, and please feel free to join in anytime. I want to say, no, I I can't empathize with another human being 100%. And there's no need to get into any kind of, identifying kind of things. But we're here to hear your stories, and we want to do it as genuinely and as thoughtfully as we can. And I appreciate what you said, Mr. Brown. I understand what you mean by that, Mr. Woods as well. We're here to be the translator to the art, and that's really how I see our role in this. So we want you to feel like this is something that you created in the end. Mr. Wood.
I'd like to hear what y'all we're ready to talk about. I'd like to think know what you're doing, and then I got some questions.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So we'll get going. I'm going to turn it to Ken to start the kind of Q&A part of this.
I can start with that. Because as Albert said, we're just the storytellers. The passion and the pride of this project, it comes from you. It comes from the community. We're, like you said, we're not from here, but anything that you can share with us is going to be part of this. So it's really important for us to be here today so we can hear from you, and this can be your project. It's not our project. This is your project. So, and the focus of this is we have some questions for you that Carrie went, I think she passed a few of them along, and hopefully you were able to think about some of these questions ahead of time, because there'll be plenty to talk about. But of course, this can be at a high level. There may be details and stories that need to go into more. So we, of course, would love to speak with you after this meeting. If there's anyone that's willing to talk with us and share more stories, we'll send around a clipboard that you can write your name and contact information down, because of course, we would love to hear from you. So we'll get started with the questions that we posted around. And one of the most important ones is, what about Stanley White? What about the Recreation Center and the area of Duffy Field should be shared? Are there any specific events, achievements and stories that you definitely want to see to be shared with the youth and any age on this wall?
And understand, we've done some research. We're not coming into this completely cold, but we don't want to also like tip the scales in any particular way. So just feel free to as you like. What did he mean to you?
That's the question that you asked. And most kids that grew up here would come down to one basic thing. He was more of a person who watched out for you, helped you, taught you how to participate in different activities, tried to teach you the game, kept you busy, kept you out of trouble. It's just there for you. I know it's there for me. So, and I was the only one. I said, you know, some kids on the field. But we was out there for all of them. It's hard for us when we couldn't go out playing football for this gym. He fought for us because we didn't have proper equipment. So we went to the other gym. That's what we did. On the back, sometimes some of them had to take it home without transfer, skip the number. We fought for us to try to have what we didn't have, but just as good as other people. That's a big thing.
It mainly, I know it was mainly through sports, but how did that span outside of the athletic activities? And what ways?
He was everything. When I got in high school, I read about certain things. He was about education. We went to be qualified to do certain things. But ask him, he would try to tell you, he would ask for help. You're not going to run me down. didn't have to run me out. Run me out. So a whole lot, that every one of them has the story that we come back and how much we think about the local man.
Kind of understanding.
One of the things I remember, he was a compassionate person, but he was a teacher and you didn't realize he was teaching you until later. He was grabbing all this stuff and knowledge, and I didn't realize that years later, the thing that
He's a good teacher, man.
right, that his way he was a stickler for ownership. He didn't take no, he was firm, but he was fair. And that was all the kids that I remember, you know. That's the type of person he was. He always had a crowd. But like I said, he was a teacher first, and you didn't realize it, you know, maybe later on in life or whatever. He stood for us.
What were some of those notable things that we taught you?
Sportsmanship. He didn't believe in people. He'd rather lose with what he had than take, you know, you're not right. And you're not doing what you're supposed to do. He believed. He didn't believe in that team. If he was winning, he was winning right. I've seen a lot of times he left people fearful to go. And that's one thing, and when I work for recreation, I try to carry myself the same way.
I think one of the things that caught fire, and with me being one of the younger ones that remember Stanley White, the man, was that he was a member and an athlete also. And we had a chance to see him perform. And we had a chance to see him play athletics. But the thing that caught fire was those that came after him, such as people like Mr. Book, Mr. Reggie Pender, who you just spoke with. They wanted to please him, and he gave them an example of what it should be and how it should look and how they should care about us as kids. And we were not always easy, but they wanted to please Stanley White, the man. They also saw him as a role model. We saw him as someone that was larger than life. But they saw him as a role model, and we could tell that his way caught fire with everybody that came after him, who knew him, and who patented their coaching style, their teaching style, and just their style of, hey, let's have fun, but let's be athletic about it, and let's play to win. But when we lose gracefully.
That resonated through generations as well.
And it caught fire. And when I mean it caught fire, those that played for him wanted to please him. Those that saw him and came after him wanted to please him.
You know, too, also with the dope, he was very organized. You know, when they had their baseball club, them guys, they had their own little clubhouse, they had their room blazed up, they had gray pants and patch on it, and they was always organized to do that. He was behind it, with the dope too. And that made a difference for us seeing, those type things that we wasn't normally seeing as we were growing up. I did have that. I enjoyed seeing them like that. They were very organized. Like I said, it was dope too. You just didn't deal with the kids too.
How do you like a self-respect kind of thing, or like setting an example? Or
Right. Well, what we should be, or how we should be. I mean, he wasn't one to take over our set. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. We don't make it what I've seen. It me think about Pied Piper when coming in with days in the gym. He always had about 5 or 6 people behind him. Anytime he moved, he had 5 or 6 kids in here. We fight to get the room, sweep the floor, keep score for games, teaching, those type things, how to keep the baseball scorebook. And we're doing it while we're not 10 years old. And I learned a lot of stuff about that. And I had no idea I was going to work with the rest of the way down there out of college, but it just happened. But those things I remember a lot, even though I played in a lot of sports. You always had a group of kids. We go on the cable park and do the field, the ones that couldn't get on the truck and ball. Those were the kids. And I mean, that's the type, you saw him when he was at work. He always had kids around.
You want to be around?
Oh, yeah.
Did he inspire you to work in Parks and Rec?
And that's something funny. When I got out of college, I always had a summer job in the rec. Like I said, I grew up here in the rec center. I graduated kindergarten from here. Nothing I never really thought about, but when I got out of college, the job market was tight. Found out the position was open, and applied and got it. I stayed with the city a little over 30 years. Wow. 30 years.
I represent a unique perspective of folks who came during the after fire events. And our passion comes from a different place because unfortunately, those who moved here were born after Stanley White weren't able to serve next to him. But our passion comes from them. Our passion comes from hearing the stories that we tell about them and being able to relate that to our experiences to the old Stanley White building. Everything that they say that Stanley White was, that building was for us. It taught us. It educated people. It mentored people. It was a place to organize. It was a place to play sports. It was a place to honor their ancestors. It was a safe space. It was the heartbeat of the community. That building literally became everything that Stanley White, the man, was for this community. So we can't even begin to understand the impact that losing that other building had as well in the story, because it was just as impactful, or maybe not as much as losing him. So when we lost the old building, we lost a piece of him. And so this building ultimately has to be an homage to that, to the man, and to that fire legacy that he emblazoned in everybody that came after him. Because even after he attacked, many people wanted to be like Stanley White. And they went to the Stanley White Rec Center to get that essence of who Stanley White was and to hear his story so that we could stay connected to the man and the myth, the legend that is Stanley White. So that's ultimately what you feel when we're saying it's got to tell that story.
Before this building was upgraded, that was the asset in the community. That building was the only asset. That was the only place other than this was before it was upgraded that we could meet, that we could have civic meetings, that we could rally. And as Lee said, it was a safe haven. There was no gang activity there. There were no crimes that were committed there. And it's because of the leadership that we had. When that building went down, I mean, there were family reunions that would be held at that site. There were elderly, where there were classes for seniors that were held at that site. That was the asset, and we lost a great asset when that building was condemned because of the flood.
It sounds like there's a lot of similarity there between Stanley White as a person and that building in terms of being a kind of an anchor for the community in a lot of ways. I think there's something really kind of beautiful and poetic about that.
I think when they moved into the building, we carried on some of his stuff like education. We started doing a lot of stuff with kids, letting them know where they can go from there. Coming out that community, people always thought we didn't do anything, nothing. But we started instilling educational things in school, and we brought in school, we did tools, so we was passing that to our joint, and a lot of kids got interested in going to college with that, they wasn't even thinking about that. That was another big thing, that about education.
Are there any programs that you started that really helped with the community, or any like big success stories of things that you had passed, or any memorable events, even like a specific thing, or like mentoring someone that came to achieve greatness? Are there any stories like that you could share?
A lot of those guys that played baseball, they were set on baseball field. I mean, and I can remember I had the good fortune to attend a lot of their home days or brother days on the team, but they had talent. I know some that were close to vision. A lot of those guys were important. Bobby Perry, which he did play professionally around this community. Started off with the Giants, I think, and played the Angels for a while. But there's been so much talent here. You'd be surprised that's come out of that. Even though when there's so much kids and talent and got the opportunity to move on and go to college, other places, professionally. So it has helped a lot of these kids in the community, which they just say they can succeed out of this.
I see a lot of that kind of residual, Stanley White influence. These folks who went out in the world and achieved their best.
We passed it on people that worked there with us. I got to mention one, Charles Pickett. He was great instrumental in going out to each bush and bringing kids in and getting them involved. Because he literally would go around and he brought the people in to get into the program. We didn't have a lot. We played football, tablecloth, and he did it all. He was a maintenance man. He was a equipment man. He officiated the game. So he did it all. And at that time, we were playing tablecloth full sand. So if you let happen, you came up about 50 or 60 on. But he did it all. He was a man of mentality. So let me talk swimming.
There are some things that may not seem important to others, but and everybody has their own opinions. One of the main things that when I just heard Mr. Red speak on it, Campbell Park was a stadium. It was not a field. It wasn't a park. It wasn't just a baseball field, it was a stadium. And I have to, that's just me personally, because it was so large as I was a child. And I was proud to have that as a stadium that I was even able to play in. And that someone cared enough about us to maintain it as they did. But that's important to me. It has to be, you can't say Stanley White without talking about Cape Cable Park. And I'm not talking about Cable Park, the stadium.
Yeah, I think the city just dropped the ball on that stadium. You know, but, Ranger Stadium reminded me a lot of Cable Park. Near Kingston, it reminded me a lot of how Cable Park was. Big scoreboard, wood scoreboard out in center field, sunken dugout.
The field house under the bleachers. The field house under the bleachers.
Yeah, on each end with the shower rooms and everything, but the city dropped the ball on it. They waited too late to try to do something with it. And by the time they decided they want to do something, it wasn't costing them. Then they started losing part. The police department took part of it down at that end. So, and it just went, I was sorry to see that happen, but I do have those memories when it was like a major league stadium.
Stanley White left such strong, capable young men after he had passed. We had Pickett was officiating games when I was playing City Hall. And whatever we recall, that's where I went. With son Billy was able to officiate basketball games and baseball, football games, but most of them played baseball. When I grew up, he used to tell me certain things, and I would listen to them. One time I was the youngest player on the team. We had what we call city league. Their basketball way bigger than me. They weighed 113, 130 pounds, and I weighed 70 pounds. Okay, for some reason, as the years went by, I grew up. When I got in high school, he was still telling me things. And while he was telling me things, these were things that he said, I know you can play that position. So I just played it. So we had people that had turned pro, like he was Martin's brother, Aaron Martin, he played for the Rams. So when he come home, that's where he would work out in that field out there. So Stanley White would take me, the rest of us would get out there. So I go out there and I try and check him, okay? His brother, Julius, who lived just down the street over there, he was #1 draft choice in the nation for Dallas. So he had to beat out Bob Hayes and somebody who had to beat them out. And by him being a rookie, it just didn't work. Okay? There's a lot of people that's been in here that played some of the pictures on the wall over there. This building, I helped this building get started. They didn't finish the building until all done with them come along. So there's a lot of history in this building. So when we went to the father's building, we went down there. There were some people left the coach. Pickett and I stayed together for a while, and I felt like we got a lot of talent. We spread out. So I always think I thought we would start another team and go somewhere else. And Pickett and I stayed together for a while, and I told him what I would do. So I did it. Okay. Out of all those teams and all those teams, we have kids who go to the program. That's in football. Baseball, somehow Pickett helped get the necessary help that he needs in baseball, but he loves baseball too. Okay. He'll call a game. He's one of the hardest working people that I know of. Okay. So there's a whole lot going on, and a whole lot of things that we have learned from Stanley White, where I didn't know I was going to wind up in a coach. But I went back to do everything that Stanley was taught me, everything that Simon Coach taught me, and they were working on with Mr. Coach. They worked on Simon Coach. That's what they worked with. That was the high school football coach. That's things you don't know as a kid. But it can also help you win and bring you out. It also changes you and make you a better person. So that's things that we all didn't know. Then we take people down to the beach in that red bus. some of the young people don't remember it, but we take it down. And a lot of things about the way we had cookouts and rocket run. So I was 15 years, I have to be on that day. I didn't contribute to it, but I don't know. But they were having it, all hot dogs, hamburgers, soda, juice, drink. At a certain time, we didn't have soda, we had Kool-Aid. A lot of sugar, but we had Kool-Aid.
That tastes delicious.
So I grew up doing the same thing with the kids that I covered. And I covered 45 years. I had a chance to move to another level, but I decided to go back and do it. So it's more than what I said. Somebody else could say, hey, every one of us got a little different opinion. But it's still a great opinion.
I mean, I ask you a question about the job, but what I learned, I saw him almost every day, 1 year right next door, and he went above and beyond. You talk about him, he had less to work with than our counterpart, Georgia. Even the allegation of fund wasn't nowhere near what we needed. But I seen him raise money, I seen him take money. So he was more compassionate and compassionate about it. And even when the center got torn down, he fought against moving it. And simply because I wouldn't call him a god or look at him a god, but people idolize the man. So when you take the building down and move it somewhere else, it's almost like a sacred, almost like a cemetery. When you start digging up life. And basically that's what the man was feeling for them being taken away. And like Reggie was saying, I've seen the semi-pro players, and I've been in the same room that they lost the fight again. By the grace of God, we, water all in it, wire control, like you were saying, they started being dilapidated when you see what things do. And God has blessed us not to lose our lives. And we've been being kids, we kids, we've been in many areas that are dangerous. But we have a lot of children out of a lot of trouble. And not only just football, basketball, baseball, we had boxing. And from this stage, the boxing left from here and then that's how I learned how to box and learned how to swim and do a lot of other things because of not only just Stanley, it's the effect that it had on others that wanted to be like him or be in that same status. He coached me in Africa, coached me, and I ended up coaching with him. And then, just like you said, when you get old enough, you feel like your skills are good enough, you have that same capacity to get those kids out of the street or keep them out of the street. You want to coach. So I ended up being a coach. And, matter of fact, I worked under his son on coach pay. He was commissioner. I worked at the whole game. So that's what the community looks like, with leadership of the family.
And I've also read that he was an Army veteran too. Do you know anything about his experience being in the military?
I heard the son of the flight would probably inform me more. He has some family back there. So when you get the question, they could fill that in.
Great.
He was all everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all of it. Yeah, I think everything. He was like seven. Couldn't nobody.
I can remember you always doing the summer, you always brought this guy down to hip hop, Frank Hammond. Never forget him. He always came down to summer, I guess, with summer jobs. They were kind of both of them made it in their family together. And I think Frank has some relatives here in this area. But bus, take them down there twice a week. It is taking them a long way. Shady Beach. I've got a couple pictures of some of us in class, so we always took pictures down there, and I think it was 767. Good bus down there.
They used to, his nickname, he called him Chief now. Now somebody else will tell me where he got that nickname from. But that's all I heard when I was growing up. Chief, you say, you Brian. Yeah. It was Chief. Chief. All I said is, they do that. If something happened in that room, somebody, our chief, he would come and stick his head out and see what happened.
Exactly something like
He handled the athletic part, Ms. Martin handled everything else, what system-wise. Senior citizen back here, she was one of the senior citizens, back, probably one of the oldest ones in the state at that time. Ms. Girl's name couldn't be there to take her, not to do the work, let's check the clip, I know, but her and Stanley worked good together. She handled the building side and he handled all that. But they ran, like I say, back then they were doing kindergarten here. So she handled that part.
This was our kindergarten stage.
Currently made part.
This was our kindergarten stage back in the 60s.
Yeah. Same stage here.
quite a lot about at the rec center meetings. Is there, I guess athletics got brought up a lot. So what about athletics for so many roles? And why do you choose that to mentor children? What is it about that teaches?
I'm not sure why he was in there, but his job, that's what basically he did, and it gave everybody an outlet here. I wasn't actually an athlete, but I played in all the different sports there. When one ended, like basketball ended, we go into football or maybe football, we did it all. And like I said, that kept us busy learning that. Plus, like I said, everybody, we had some good athletes. Everybody, you did something to help, Everybody was
why athletics was important to Stanley was because it was about teamwork, building up, teaching kids how to effectively operate in a team society. Somebody who's uncoachable is unemployed. That's just, if I can't coach you, you can't work. Because that means you can't deal with people. So while athletics was important, whether or not you were good or not, it was about being able to teach you.
Everybody had
that teachable moment.
He was one that didn't have to teach you how to read or write, but when he got you on the field, he could see what you were lacking, and he would tell you to stand up in the box to hit that curveball. And when that kid started hitting that curveball on a consistent basis, he could see the joy in that kid, and he knew that that kid was going to start feeling something and feel a self-worth, because he could even see that he was excelling. So it was about teaching them something and having them to excel at it to where it was pleasing within themselves and giving them some self-worth, because they could see themselves growing, and that it could just that inner growth. And as I said, us as kids, we just wanted to please our coaches, and we definitely wanted to please Stanley.
And why, that's brought up a lot, why did you want to please Stanley?
Because he saw something in us. He was a semi-pro baseball player. And he would have a few of us kids that would come to the games early, and he would have us shagging balls for him. He would allow us to get out on the field as they were taking batting practice, and we would be out there, and he would be out there with us. And if we caught a ball, he would come behind us, good catch, and encourage us even more. Now, that made us feel important. Somebody was taking time instead of kicking us and saying, "Oh, you kids, go sit down," or "You kids, stop running around." You know, we had energy, but we also had somebody that cared about us and would allow us to. And even when the guys would finish playing, he may stick around and let us run the bases. Something so small as running the bases as kids and teaching us how to slide properly. Teaching us how to, you know, just taking that time with us. After he had already put in a hard day's work, a game, and now he's going to stay out there with some kids. There was nothing like it.
I'm a little off script here, but it makes me wonder, like, who was Stanley White's Stanley White? Who did that for him that he saw the value in it to share it with the other, right? Like, there was, or who didn't? And how did he reach that moment in which he said, you know, I've got a skill, and I can reach people through this skill, through athletics, and through being a mentor. And I'm going to do that for my community because it's valuable.
That's probably the guys. You probably would have had family.
Right.
Stuff like that. And most of the guys that back then are gone.
Sure.
That probably didn't grow up in the city, but probably his family or something like that.
You know, you got to think like something in a series of some things happened in his life where he said, you know, I can do this too. I can share this with my community, and you know, you gotta give it to him. I mean, it's pretty amazing the amount of people that he's impacted and
It had to do with a lot with his family and still did because the fact at that time, most of the black people, they went to a law, they went to college, average, you know, going in the army, that sort of thing, you know. And probably the family is still there more than you make that difference in itself, and
Not only that, you gotta think from 40, 50, 60, the era that we lived in, the have and the have not. You want to see those kids come out, those children come out of Creighton Parish, Springfield, or wherever parts of maybe what you look at the slum or the poor area, he poured into them. And that's what I saw. He didn't take it as just a position. He went out and met the parents. You know, he used to come over to the house and talk about my class. But the thing is he knew most of the kids who knew their parents. He almost knew where they lived. Now, if you step out of pocket, out of line, you can check it, but he'll go to your house too. I know that personally. I wouldn't know Rowdy boy, nothing like that, but I hung around Rowdy. So I got to a couple of times. He didn't just work with the kids. He was a coach. We had baseball. Kids were 17 to 18, 16 to 18. Big boys. Coach them. I think he saw the talent that was here. He would work with, and I learned one thing from that he had a heart. There was sometimes a player that the guy couldn't play that good or like playing that good. And something out here, so he can't play it. They ain't gonna play it, they'll want to do nothing. But the type of person that will keep you out there and let you get a taste of it. There's something that I learned from him, like in football. He never took the little guy and overmatched him with somebody that really could run over. He would go out there, run the wall, and do that. They try to run up first, run up here, whatever. So, what he did, what I learned from him, I used that same tact. And that kid that might have been able to run away, he gets stronger and gets encouragement and he plays better. You know, he wasn't all in just sports. He was about education, about you learning. Definitely about you learning once you do these things.
So education definitely leads into recreation centers. They provided so much, like you said, education. So this is the main thing that was really important to Stanley, is that it educated the youth in so many different ways through athletics, but also through sportsmanship, like you mentioned. Do you think that was the main reason for it? Is there anything else that he loved about recreation centers that really drew that to him?
I was only around him about 3 seasons. That was just sports. He would come by the house sometime, grab that bus and come by the house and he knew my mother. So he would holler and tell my mother, say, hey, why don't you let that boy play ball? All I know, they come out there. She said, okay, let me get on my. He ride around and look and see kids, and then come out there and might be. I see the big field out of the kid. Jumping jack, push up, and then broken down to move. They went down to the area, and we played there. That side of town, over there, we played. Just always by water, and we played with the front, and we had all those things.
But that's an important thing, because you mentioned like, it's probably obvious for you, but for me, I was thinking the whole time of, okay, he coached kids that came to play sports, right? That's one thing. But then he also wouldn't run off kids that were playing that maybe weren't as talented. He gave them opportunities to get better, right? To match up with somebody about your same size, so you get a little bit better, and then maybe next year you move up to a bigger kid, right? You match up with a bigger kid. But what you just said too is that it wasn't just about working with who came to him. He actually went out and recruited. He went around the neighborhoods and he brought people in. So it was not only an active sort of responsive thing, he was proactive by going out into the community and getting kids in. You know, why aren't you out on the field? Why aren't you playing ball?
We didn't have toys back then. I mean, there weren't toys. We had balls. We had, but we weren't doing. We had balls. When you saw a group of kids walking down the street, somebody had a football, somebody had a basketball. Nobody may have had a baseball or a glove, but they could pick up a rock with a stick and swing it. But we didn't have toys back then. We didn't play with toys. We played with balls, and that's what we did. And we would get in a group, and we would either pass the ball around, or we would throw the football, or we would go find something to go shoot. We should shoot on these side bars back over here. If the big guys were playing basketball, those heating bars, we would go and we would shoot anywhere.
What else would you say we important to Stanley that maybe we haven't uncovered today?
Community involvement.
Outside of athletics.
Yeah, family. You can tell. I mean, I'm not from here. Okay. However, the influence that Stanley Wayne had on everybody who coached, who came after him, who the center, everything, it was like he was the apex and everything fell up under it. And it branched out. Okay. Reggie was the center manager over the Stanley White building. The football teams that he had and the people who worked under him, you know, the volunteers, you know, it was about the community. So that lets me know that, and it all started with Stanley. It started with Stanley White, that influence, that legacy. So he was the apex that just started the whole thing. And then it branched out. And everybody's got their own little part. Bernard got his part where he coached. You heard him say he coached for 40-something years. Pickett coached.
Still coaching.
Yeah, still coaching. You can't find a young guys coach now. You know, how many kids in this area end up going pros because of what happened at Stanley White West? And all that stems from Stanley White the man.
It's crazy because what he said is true. All those kids that then when they see they had the opportunity, they come back and give back. We were down in center, we had a lot of those guys that played pro come back home, and stuff, do uniform, everything. Brian Simmons, they had him do some stuff. Mike Hughes, you had, that was Brian, matter of fact, he's coaching in Carolina, and he was one of the best in Cincinnati. Played linebacker in Carolina. I still run into him off and on. And they are willing, I used to get those kids to come back. And, you know, feel their experience. We had a lot of them. Some of those things and stuff we had. And it really changed their attitude toward building everything. Everybody wanted you know, it got so bad that sometimes if I was late to get to the center more, I had a crowd out in front of the door, wait, you know, something. That's how it was. Everybody was trying to get in, you know, involved and back then, but now a lot of this is 1 mile. I said, money has priced a lot of these kids out of program now. So that's stuff we need to work on to change. They talk about the kids getting in trouble, but a lot of them can afford these programs, especially in this area. You know, you got 4 or 5 kids, and it costs you $50 to $100 per kid to get involved. Hey, it's happening. You got those kids that fall through the cracks, and you know, back then we didn't have that problem. You know, the ones that couldn't afford, we made a way. Made a way on that. If we had to pay for it ourselves, we did. But now it got so pricey. You know, my grandkids just paid flag and they cost $100 per person.
That's just the play.
Just
that's not the shoes or the jersey.
He's 5. Up here.
Okay.
And you know, stuff like that. And that's my only problem I got. You know, it seems like their focus is money. See, I'm not getting to sit, but you're right. You know, and it's got away from the kids and money. You know, and, that's the only problem I had. You know, and I got longer in my career than the people that changed. That's why I hate to see these kids, a lot of kids not doing anything, and then they because they don't want to.
We used to have a church in Stanley White, had several churches in there, that baseball. More than 18 plus 12 people we had a football. St. Peter's used to have one, Montgomery used to have one, Johnson used to have one. They all, they had one. St. Paul,
It's like a church league. Is that?
They have church league baseball, and then some of the churches It's more expensive.
Yes, it is.
I can handle it. But these people, I just have other things I want to do. But I can't do all of it.
I guess one good question is, we talk about all these great stories and things that we want to see. Is there anything you don't want to see put out this fall? We will definitely be going through our research. We're going to be reading about everything. We'll be talking to a lot of people. So knowing firsthand, is there anything that should be excluded?
I don't think it should be any negative. I mean, we all know what was going on during those times. And it wasn't a real popular time. But why accentuate it?
Yeah.
Not on this wall. Accentuate it somewhere else.
Now, the wall that you are creating is going to be televised like a tele, I can push a button, you can give me a little history along with the wall, or you just should be in the face of the wall.
We don't know. We haven't really gotten that far yet. I mean, that's, you know, it'll be a budget question, it'll be an accessibility question in terms of, it's at a rec center. So my gut tells me that you want it kind of durable, kids running around and beating stuff up. So if we do something like that that is interactive,
I like to see it because of the modern time, and it's a very new building. And just like a few years back, not this touchscreen, we did sit around and we did something like that. We told stories, you know, little things that we knew what happens about it. So just like Stanley, you can have interview people. When you hit that button, the interview will pop up. History about the man, you know what I'm saying? And that, I think that would be well, you know, first right there.
kind of a recorded history.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of space I go to now. They, even in the rec centers, I'm in Atlanta, they got a big rec center, and they had a lot of history, not just on the wall, but when you hit that, you stand there and it'll tell you history about the place and before it eliminated and all.
Right.
That's a great information. Do you think there's anyone else that should be included? Any other leaders or any people that made a big contribution and positive impact?
Dr. Marmwell, should be up there. Because, you know, a lot of kids wouldn't been able to play without them being able to, we gave them physicals for next to nothing. Right? I mean, that was for years. Reggie Finger, the center manager. Picky. I mean, y'all know right now.
Alex Spencer did some of the, you know, what, they're the core time that we moved down there. All that work.
He was turning $5 to his family.
Yeah.
That was his family.
But, you know, these were the people that took on that elected that Stanley started. And moved it on, because like I said, with this, you know, this where we started, we used it as long as we could, and moved on to the Stanley White. Got in there, did what we needed to do after about 40 years. After that time, it was time, really, after the storm, it was really time, my opinion, I'm gonna just say it, my opinion was time to move on to what like we did, because most of the young people, you know, when we were kids, that area was a crash house. So we had a lot of problems, a lot of people didn't know with building and other stuff because of, it was still settling and everything, you know. And a lot of the people in the community didn't know, but people that were working that knew the problem was having. So, it was time, I feel, it was time to move on. I love the area, but I just felt it was time to move on to better things. We just can't, sometimes we just can't live in the past. Remember the past, but don't live in it.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that just as if we're expecting this to be a viable building for the next, 50, 60 years, we got about 40, 50 good years out of the old building.
Right, exactly.
And to be honest with you, those high school championships that came to New Bern High started at Stanley White. And it started because of the youth teams that those guys who were students of Stanley White. The coaches that coached those young kids and coached them and kept them together through the years. Those guys that went on to play pro ball were coached by the coaches that coached by Stanley White.
So I definitely want to give everyone a chance to come up here, so we'll just kind of breeze through this. If there's anything else you recommend us to talk to or read, of course. Yeah, absolutely. We want to get them up here. So we're going to start opening up to anything else you want to say. The public, please come up here. Definitely want to talk to William. Here's some more from you guys. So we will stop asking our questions, and it's going to be open from here. But yeah, we definitely want to thank everyone here. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for giving us a chance to meet you and hear what you have to say. We really appreciate this, and we're looking forward to telling your story, honestly.
And doing it well, even though we're low bidder. We're gonna do it.
All right, so we open the public comment. Mr. Moore, if you want to come up, or Ms. Cleo.
Just come up real quick. I know it said 4 minutes. It's probably impossible to do that, but I'll talk for my wife and her mother there. We got you. If y'all don't mind. First of all, this is a concept that the family came up with. It said history wall, Stanley White, had his picture, a tree, which his family was the most important thing to him. His church, Ebenezer, his faith. And I think that kind of tells what it was like from here at Cedar Street, Cable Park included, then the old center that flooded, what happened along the way, be able to input pictures and narratives that will indicate that success, and then what it's like today with the new one. So that's for you guys. It's just a concept, but also here we have a bridge for the future, and it says extending the legacy of Chief to the next several generations. So that's kind of like telling his story, what it was like, what happened along the way, and how it is today. So let me just say real quick, as Mr. Woods had indicated that his feelings about the narrative, and I know it's been a lot going on about not moving the center to where it's at, which was the best deal, about the African American community not being written out of the narrative through the center and this programming. And we say we're going to assure that and maintain that integrity. So it's been a lot said personally, and I'll say it, as I said before, trust the process. I felt that maybe this group could have talked to the family first. I'm just being honest, because that's where everything lies, and then come. And the family should have been more of an intimate connection, and then publicly. I'm sure Martin Luther King, when they did their whatever, they talked to the family first. So I felt that was kind of out of order, but guess what? It's okay. Trust the process. So we're here today, and there's so much I could say, but first and foremost, Stanley was a man of faith. He had a vision. Athletics was his life, and he played all sports. Went to Hampton Institute on football scholarship, ran track, graduated with BS degree, went on into the Army. These are tons of Stanley White, April 4, June 20th. I mean, this tells the history here a lot. It's an overview. These are tons of pictures of the New Bern Giants. I mean, this is it. And I've been saying for the longest, Cleo has it. Cleo, family and friends, from 1962, the 50s, way back, pictures, family pictures, pictures of him and his kids. Recreation Center, August 1976, the center that flooded. I mean, even when we went out there and did the addition already, these are pictures, this is the history, this is it, and you guys are welcome to it. Sit down, and Cleo has tons of it. I wanted to bring, this is his Hall of Fame, it was given to him on October the 19th, 2001 at New Bern High. He's on the Hall of Fame. So Pam didn't want to give this up. There's a company on the back you may know is in Raleigh, Cameron Village, and they can duplicate this, but I think this would be a great piece. This Hall of Fame would be a centerpiece of some sort. So actually, there's tons of stuff that's relevant from way back. And there's so many people. I would say that Reverend Johnson was here, Pastor Ever just retired. West Street School was important to him. That's where he finished high school. Of course, Hampton Institute. The New Bern Giants had a baseball club. We talked about those jackets. Where's that bag? She got a pack.
I can't find it. I had no trouble.
We're going to duplicate them patches. But you remember the Indianapolis Clowns used to come down every year. Professional black teams like the Globetrotters, they did baseball like the Globetrotters. They used to come down. The New Bernian Ball used to be here. New York would come down, we would go up there the next year and they played baseball that weekend. I mean, these are things that were so important. But Pearlie Mae Martin, we had to mention her. She was the director here. Stanley was the athletic director. She was the center director. But anyway, Jim Pollard. Jim Pollard used to drag the fields. And, you know, J.D. Dunn, he used to come down from the military play. Frankie Hamilton used to come down from Virginia. So many more, so many of the guys, Booker T. Bryant, that was close to Stanley. But we're looking forward to getting back together again and just share a little bit of the history, the family. He had two brothers, Moses, Calvin, Ford. He's the youngest, but Stanley was the oldest. But yeah, sports was the vehicle that he was blessed with. I mean, this guy was built like him, you know. I started, my earliest remembrance is 5 years old, kindergarten, and the connection was made. I used to walk from West Street School to here, sit in his office at his desk, do my own work first. He was what do you call it? Second in your class in high school, is how it is? Okay, he was that. But anyway, I used to have to do homework and he'd throw me a rule book. 12 years old, I remember calling the game in here with the jersey, the whistle and everything, adult league. And so through sports, he educated through sports, he connected, he engaged. You're talking about a man of compassion, very few words, but a lot of action. And it's through sports that he taught fundamental skills, life skills, character building. He worked with the at-risk. You talk about the boxing gloves, the ring, that was for those guys used to wear these great rubber things, bands, the snake eyes. They were actually group games. And he didn't kick them to the curb. They didn't go to school, but he found a way to engage those guys. Johnny Moore, one of the best pitchers left here, came out of prison. Stanley recruited him and mentored him. So he did a lot. And so I can remember I was 15 and June the 30th, 1971, I was 15, turning 16, and we got a call from his mother Gladys that he had deceased at Cable Park on Father's Day. I don't know, the last 3 years for me has been a wake-up call. I have a degree in rec, done a lot of, it wasn't mentioned, thank you mentioned. I ran T-ball in Little League for 4 or 5 years, one of the probably better baseball programs. As a volunteer with coaches, went out and got uniform, and we brought in Charles Oakley, New York Knicks, did summer camp, basketball clinics, a lot of things that wasn't mentioned, but I took on. But anyway, fortunately, some of those traits as an athlete, I would say I was probably my senior, the best athlete in Newburgh. That means basketball, baseball, MVP, went on to Fairfield State, graduated, worked in Atlanta a little bit, recreation, signed a 2-year contract with the Braves, got to play 1 year, but was able to come back here and do PE, teach PE. I think I was your 5th grade PE teacher, wasn't I? F.R. Daniel? Okay. But anyway, yeah. He called me Coach, Mr. Moore. But anyway, I said all that to say, and probably didn't reach my pinnacle because a great piece of me was lost. 15, turning 16, I didn't have that person to check back in with during college and after that. But like I said, the last 3 years, I'll say this, that one man did not just work. He had a vision, he had an anointing, and he carried a mantle to do what he did. I seen him drive to Shady Beach, come home, teach swimming lessons, drive here, fix the field, go back out to games, call up behind the plate, ball and strike, take the scorebook from behind his breastplate and keep score. I seen it. And so that was a passion. And it was full of compassion. And I think in order for the spirit, it's not about a building. Trust me, I love the facility. Stanley White is not about a building. He could have had a shack, and he still would have did the work he did. It was about a spirit and an anointing and a vision to engage his community, to bring hope to that community through sports and engagements and activities, and all ages. He tried to develop the whole person, meaning the spirit man, the mind and the education and intellect, as well as the physicality. So he was a great man to me. And I would love to continue, and I will at whatever cost, continue to extend his legacy to the next several generations. I just turned 69 yesterday, got a little gut, but I'm still in shape, and God has kept me for a reason and for a season such as this. Thanks for letting me share.
If I may, I would like to.
Come on up, Mom.
My lady, but he was so involved with the children until sometimes the kids would come, they be sitting out on the porch morning, wait for him to get up and come open the center so they could come out, take out here to see the street. And some days when he was off, like on Saturday, the center was closed, they went to play, he would come, take his time to come out and open the center for them to play. That would be his time off. And he also loved the old folks, the old women.
Yeah.
They had clubs, the senior citizen club, he would use the city bus, the recreation bus to go pick those old ladies up. That'll throw me in and bring them out to the little meetings out here that had a ceramic glass, senior citizen club and stuff. And take them home, and some of those old men, they would be jealous of each other, and want to be the last one get off the bus. Why can't I be the last? Why you take me home first and all that? But they loved him. They just wanted to be around him. And he was just admired by the young and the old. At the time of his death, they were doing a benefit. That wasn't going to be that was Father's Day. He had to recognize the father of that day. They always were doing things to help. He really was into the youth. And the old, wasn't just the old school. And then sometime myself, I know everything can't be done at one time, but by him losing his life out there, the accident to the park, I think it'd be nice if some stage maybe have a statue or some kind of monument or something put in that area where his life was lost. To put the public outside, see the public or something, not necessary to be seen. But I would think where he lost his life, let that statue go. Kind of like where they have Walt Building thing in the area where his home was on River Street. But I know it all can't be good at a time. And I myself would like to see the family get a scholarship going in his name.
Yeah, my sister Pam was here. She's a retired teacher, not a retired second time. She's going to take the lead of the Stanley White Foundation going forward. And one of the things would be to get community support, put a statue of him out there at Cape Park, but to possibly do scholarships in the area of education, athletics, and citizenship, something of that nature. So she'll be working on that as she retires next year and come back to the area.
I would like to share one other thing, and I don't know how many of you realize this or know this. I grew up right on this corner down here, and I know you were right here. But, and you may have been one of those. On that morning, there were a lot of us. Kevin Jones was at his grandmother's house, and that's how I found out about it. And there were a lot of us that went out to Cape Park that morning. My father allowed me to go out. I was like 8 years old. And he allowed me and my brothers and sisters to be able to go out. And my father was so hurt at that particular moment. And my father, you all know who I'm talking about, but to see that man cry at that park on that day, I could still see him. And he was larger than life to me, along with Stanley White. But to see my father just break down, Frank Evans was there, Pop Evans was there, Reverend, I don't think Reverend White was there, Reverend C.H.C. White, but there were so many teachers from Burn Street, and I don't know who else was there,
It wasn't too many dry eyes, I know that.
but it was packed out there. And there wasn't a whole lot of words out there either. And there were not kids running around. There were a lot of kids out there, but we knew that was the end of an era. And we behaved and treated ourselves accordingly.
Two other gentlemen that came to mind going forward that I had on my paper, other leaders were included, was Mayor Gamma Morgan and Johnny Satch. He did the concerned citizens, and a lot of those meetings were held out at Stanley White Residence before and after the residence set a certain month. So those would be two connected leaders, I think. And like I said, Dr. Barnwell. And moving forward, in recreation, I think carry some of our ideas to incorporate health and wellness. And Dr. Barnwell should be up there or have a health and wellness room there after him in the building. He was my mother's doctor on Broad Street. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm done.
All right, anybody else have anything they want to share?
I guess in this process, once they become their research, they'll start putting some stuff together and bring it back to us to look at and see and get our thoughts on. Do y'all have anything to add?
No, I think this has been fantastic. Thank you for allowing us to come here and talk to you. So we'll take what we got. We'll probably ask some questions in the interim, just try to clarify some things. And what we like to do is kind of work in, if you imagine carving a statue out of stone, you've got a big block. You're going to start chipping the big pieces away. Let you look at it and see if it starts to sort of seem like it's the right shape and it's going in the right direction. And then keep going further until we get down to exactly what you want, or as close as we could possibly get to exactly what you want. So it's a bit of a process, but big ideas down to the final sort of thing. Thank you for the process comment. That's not, we don't get that a lot from people really understanding that it is a process, and it is. And sometimes it is just trusting it to go through and work its way out. But your input's critical, and we appreciate it, and we appreciate your time.
And there's definitely a lot more to talk about and cover. I mean, we'd love to contact you. So I'm going to pass around this information, just get your name and contact. It won't be shared or anything like that. So if you're comfortable with us contacting you.
The motion to adjourn, guys, is somebody.
I moved already.
Thank you.